Good morning, guys. Man, I have such good news today. Be patient with me on the next screen. I got to add my camera. Here we go. All right, guys, smash the like button. Okay, give me a second here. Let me do this. You got me back. So I figured it out. I figured out what the problem is with my screen. Let me go here. Just let me make sure. Okay, we're good. Here's what I was doing. So I was actually using Sidecar, which is from Apple. So here, what I have set up on my desk right now is my laptop and my iPad. And Sidecar is just like this. It makes your iPad a second screen. That's what's been lagging it. I thought it was my memory this entire time. So I started playing with it yesterday, and I'm like, now I'm not lagging since I'm not using Sidecar. So I figured out I went on a bunch of the tech blogs to read about Cathie Wood and what I wanted to figure out. And I found out that I just need a USB to USB-C connector, wire it manually, or hardwire it, I should say, and we Gucci, and there it was, fixed everything. So I'm very happy about that. I'm gonna finally get my thing work. I'm gonna finally get my double screens back, and now I don't have to spend $4,000 on a computer. So hallelujah. Futures are up this morning. The Dow is ticking up. Let's see what's happening to the rest. Everything else is okay. Nasdaq's down a touch. All right, let's get into some news and go from there. And guys, if the screen starts to lag, please tell me, and I will kick my face off, and then I will go spend $4,000 on a computer. So just let me know. The big news of the morning, Peloton CEO. Who is the new Peloton CEO? Here we go. You said you would give away your computer yesterday. I had dibs. Eric, I do remember you. I do remember you yesterday saying dibs on the computer. I just didn't say it out loud, so that's funny. So guys, Peloton, here's the deal. Peloton is going to have a new CEO, and it's going to bring in Barry McCarthy. So if you haven't heard the name, Barry McCarthy is from, if I'm going to try to remember this off the top of my head, Spotify, Instacart, and one more. Shopify, maybe? I don't know. Okay, let's see. Peloton, with the new stepping in of CEO Barry McCarthy, will slash 2,800 jobs. to seek its better aligning costs with slowing demand for its connected bikes. Peloton also aims to achieve $800 million of cost savings while also slashing capital expenditures by $150 million in 2022. He was the CFO of Spotify, CFO of Netflix, and has also been on the board of Instacart. So I got all of them except for Netflix. McCarthy's resume stature suggests Peloton is not interested. So this is a very important thing, guys. They are no longer interested. Oh, okay. Time out. Hold on. There we go. Seth said turn the camera off. So looks like I have to turn the camera off and spend $4,000. So Seth, because that was your doing, you have to pay half of the cost. Anyways. McCarthy's resume suggests, and stature suggests, Peloton is not interested in a sell-off. So here's what I think could happen. They could either not do the sell-off in general, and this guy could build the company back to... Actually, he really needs to build the company because they've sold a lot of products. The product's out there. Everybody knows exactly what it is. But the thing is, can he build them to profitability? Because they were never profitable. Or could he bring them up to a level of, how do I say this? Level of valuation that's worth selling. Because at these levels, it's really not worth selling. So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. Mr. Foley, he was the former CEO. So this was an activist investor. Blackwell, I think it's a hedge fund. Blackwell's chief investment officer, Jason Aintabby, he wrote in a letter that, remember, he said that he wanted the Peloton CEO gone. He said that he wants him gone for all of his irresponsibility that he's been continuing to do with that company. And he said that the company should put Peloton up for sale. So instead, they've found a new CEO, and they're going to move forward from there. So we'll see what happens, guys. Very interesting what's going to happen on the road forward. So I'm interested to see what Peloton does. Still, I want Peloton to be bought by Apple, but I don't think that's imminent in any type of way. Anyways, Meta warns that Europe could lose Facebook and Instagram. So, guys, the odds of this to me are so low, it's not even funny. I mean, can you imagine a situation where Europe doesn't have Facebook or Instagram? I mean, comment if you can, but I think that Facebook is going to do whatever they have to do in order to keep that usership. I mean, it would be incredible if they didn't, but Europe is looking at Facebook and Instagram free, according to a parent company's Meta latest annual report. So here's the thing. I haven't read this. I could probably pull it up after the show is over, but this is in the 10K, I'm sure. And one of the okay, here's the all right. It just all hit me right now. Here's the thing. This said, according to Meta's latest annual report, the Security and Exchange Commission is talking about how Europe could lose Facebook and Instagram, and it's about their advertising and stuff. Okay, here's the problem. Here's what it is. God, I wish I had paid attention to this earlier in the show, but it just hit me right now. I mean, earlier this morning. This was in the risk factors section. So, guys, if you've never read a 10K, you can go in, and they're going to put literally every risk factor that you can think of. Here's my risk factor for everything money. We lose all of our users. Okay, that's a risk factor that I would probably put in a 10K if I had to make one. It doesn't mean that I'm going to lose all my users. It's just like my users are going to stop paying, and I'm going to lose all my users. That's exactly what you would put in the risk factor section of a 10K. So here, because of the data transfer stuff that's going on, they put as a risk factor in the 10K that, okay, now it is all making sense. And this is a stupid article. This is a dumb article. If we are unable to transfer data between and among countries and regions in which we operate, or if we are restricted from sharing it, I'm not reading this article. This is just a bunch of reporting, a bunch of nonsense. So on to the next. Sorry, I don't. That's just dumb. Guys, as you read more 10Ks, you're going to start to realize how much fluff there is in the risk factors. Of course, it is a risk. Of course, it's a risk. But they put an endless amount of things in there that are risk factors. Just like I said, here's a risk factor for my own personal life. If I start YOLOing all of my money into Rivian, I am going to go broke. Yes, that's a risk factor, 100%. That's stupid. Okay, next. Restaurants face a long road recovery even as Omicron wanes. So this is from the National Restaurant Association. And if you guys have been listening to the show for any length of time, I said we're not going to get back to the point of maximum employment, in my opinion, to what it was pre-pandemic, unless you get hotels and restaurants back at where they were. And I've been saying this since March, April, May of 2021, and here we are. The National Restaurant Association says that they may never climb back to pre-pandemic levels. They are being held back by staffing shortages worsened by the Great Resignation, surging prices, and other structural issues that have hindered the complete recovery, and there's almost no end in sight. Tens of thousands of restaurants have gone out of business. Labor has been one of the most difficult obstacles for restaurants, with nearly half of all operators citing recruitment and retention top challenges for 2022. So we are still 3.9 million people under the employment that was February of 2020. And there's a million or fewer jobs out there that are just in the restaurant industry. And a lot of that goes to saying, losing my train of thought here. A lot of that goes to saying, there are so many restaurants have closed. Where are they going to find a job? The restaurant industry is the nation's second largest private sector employer. One of the most important questions for the industry over the coming several months is what will happen with the remigration of pattern workers back to city areas where a ton of restaurants are. According to a report, 90% of restaurant operators say that food costs are higher than they were pre-COVID, with 80% estimating that higher labor costs will continue to rise in 2022. Meanwhile, 96% of operators report supply shortages or delay of key foods and beverage items in recent months. That is a very, very large number. So Matt Jones just says, I am confident that Hooters will bounce back. There's a brand new Hooters built across the street from my brother's neighborhood. Hooters their chicken wings are just not the best in my opinion. But as Michael Scott says, why do you go to Hooters? The boobs and the hot wings. I didn't say it. Michael Scott said it. BP crushes on every front. On Tuesday, they reported a massive upswing in full net profit, the highest in 8 years, supported by soaring commodities. Net profit of $12.8 billion in 2021 compared with a net loss of $5.7 billion in the previous year. In the fourth quarter alone, they did $4.1 billion. BP said it intends to deliver a further $1.5 billion in share buybacks and maintain their dividend of 5.46 cents per share, which is one of the highest on Wall Street, I think, if it's still there. I can't remember. Percentage-wise, I can't remember. It's nuts. And they also reduced their debt to $30.6 billion, down from $38.9 billion in 2022. So Oil is flossing. I mean, if you guys know, if you have a bunch of oil stocks, you are doing extremely well with Exxon, BP, Shell, the Schlumberger, the list goes on. So keep paying attention to those, and we'll pull them up on the charts in a few minutes here, and we can go over that. The Treasury yields are closing around they're like 1.96%. Man, these Treasury, I was actually surprised at what I'm going to see in this article. The sell-off of the world's biggest bond market looks to extend. 10 years is up to 2.2%. And look at this. Where are we? Here we go. Matthews International Capital Management is penciling a move towards 2.5%. JP Morgan said that the global benchmark could be as high as 3% this year. My prediction is that they end the year over 2%, and JP Morgan saying 3%. That's nuts. If you think about the Fed and the target in terms of inflation, about 2%, yields are likely to be above it, and they're right. I didn't exactly think of it from that aspect. I don't think I highlighted anything else in here. So that was that. But and then my favorite story of the day, and by favorite I mean least favorite, Cathie Wood ventures into private equity. So what does this mean? What does this mean for investors? What this means is when you go into PE, private equity, you are kind of more or less, you can't just go in there and sell your shares. It's a process. So this is what she's doing. She's locking your ass in, so you can't just exit out whenever you want, and you can't have these incredible outflows of companies. So now she's branching out into private equity disruption. I wish I had a bell. Ding, 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 ding. Which is going to be a closed-end fund, which means that it does have an end date. The Ark Venture Fund will invest in disruptive, innovative companies that are expected to grow exponentially. Like most held in Ark ETF, sure, it's different because it requires investors to be much more committed with their cash. Guys, if you're going to do this, well, I know none of you are. Well, maybe some of the hype dorks that are hitting the dislike button. By the way, smash the like button or the dislike, depending on what you want to do. But Ark says it currently doesn't have any plans to venture this new fund into public trading. Of course they don't, because they don't want the incredible outflows that they've seen that have been going on with the Ark ETF. So this is a way to lock in money. The minimum investment is going to be about $1,000, so any Tom, Dick, and Harry can get in there. Preventing investors from selling their shares whenever they want reduces pressure on the fund to keep lots of cash available. Amen to that. The stricter control of cash will also follow the Ark Venture Fund to invest in illiquid securities, such as those in private companies, which is challenging for ETFs, yada, yada, yada. It is incredible. This woman is just the scam artist of all scam artists. She literally tells you she's going to scam you right to your face, and people go and do it. I know you guys don't go do it, but people go and do it. It's truly, truly incredible, but I digress. New yields page. I like what I see from the Bloomberg, so let's hop over to the Bloomberg 10-year yield. Look at this. For 1 month and for 1 year, look at it tells you now. It's great. 1.95% on the 10-year, 0.23% on the 3 month. So I like looking at the 3 month and the 10-year, and I like looking and seeing how those ones start to move together, converge, whatever you want to call it. So what reports today? Pfizer reported before the bell this morning. They're down 4%. Peloton reports after the bell. That's disruptive. Chipotle reports after the bell. So make sure you go and get your last burritos to try to help them in the quarter. BP reported this morning. Tomorrow, big day. Disney, Uber, Twilio, Canopy. Get that marijuana. Teva, big pharmaceutical. CVS, I know a lot of you hold CVS. And then Thursday, Twitter. Kathy Wood went in and bought a bunch of Twitter before earnings, so I hope that gets smoked. What else do we have? Oh, Zillow, speaking of disruption, they report. And then Friday, Under Armour, Cleveland Cliffs, etc., etc., etc. Okay. If you want to join the software, you get 8 pillars, retirement calculator, stock analyzer tool, 8 pillars portfolio. Of course, the exclusive content that we put out all the time. And look at this, guys. We're starting to do real estate with Andrew. Deal of the week. I love those episodes. I was texting Andrew about it this morning. Andrew is super excited to be being featured in some of these videos. Click Join EM. Come on over here. And $30 a month gets you access to all of that, including chat with 6,000 plus members that you can talk about with your investments. $80 a month gets you into the Bid and Ask Nation, which we're going to talk about trading in a little bit. Day trading, long-term trading, swing trading, options, value. There's about 1,000 people in the Bid and Ask. More exclusive, and plus you get to talk to me all the time, so who wouldn't want that? I know I would want it. So come on over, send me some stocks, let's start getting at it, and we will go from there. Yeah, Paul Hubers, I saw that Kathy Wood this morning bought, we can go to Yahoo Finance and just look. I'm pretty sure I saw it. Maybe it wasn't here. Maybe it was on somewhere else. Kathy's always buried at the bottom here. When she's not in big favor, she's buried at the bottom. When she's in big favor, she's up at the top. Whatever. I think I saw that she bought a bunch of Twitter shares, so whatever. I love Deal of the Week. I actually do. I think she sold Twitter. Okay, now I just want to find it. TWTR, and then we'll look at Twitter. Oh, what do we got here? Twitter. What is going on here? Even the Twitter page is broken. Whatever. All right, somebody Google it, figure it out for me. I swear I read an article this morning that said Kathy Wood buys Twitter ahead of earnings. But I understand that she sold. I understand, but go and look and see what she did recently, like yesterday. I understand that she sold Twitter because it's not disruptive anymore. All right. Go and look now. Okay, let's do PayPal after Twitter. Dog stock sitting at the bottom. Let's see what's going to happen. And this thing, if you can get, let's say that this thing jumps up on earnings and you start a trend that starts moving to the top. Go for it. Just go for it and jump into it. But if I was you, I would just let earnings play itself out and move on from there. CCL, let's do CCL. CCL is getting very interesting. So here's what I said yesterday about CCL, and let me just blow up this long-term chart for you just so we can, because this is really the one that we want to focus on, because I know a lot of you are longer term on this one. So let's see. So we're sitting at okay, so right now, if you're in this and you're profitable, you do have a very strong support level right here. And then it just, I'm sorry, resistance level. And then it just continues to go up. Remember, $32 is the biggest threat that you're going to deal with because of the 50% rule. And let's zoom out and just show you the 50%. So there, here's your high, here's your low, your 52%. I mean, your 50% is right around $32. So just be careful with that one. Plus you got it, guys. You're right at the 100-day moving average. I drew that support, that resistance line that I just drew in there. It's your 100-day moving average. Just notice that right now. So be careful with that one. Be careful with that one. All right. It's on CNBC Pro. Headline: She sold $142 million worth. Okay, so she sold a bunch of Twitter at its low. So that lady is just flossing. Facebook. Let's see. So correction, Kathy Wood, because I know so many of you out there are intense followers of what Kathy does and just want to mimic exactly what she does. So God forbid I was wrong about her BS moves, but I will correct myself. She sold. All right. Facebook just getting beaten down even more. $222.30 a share right now. Guys, I'm telling you right now, I love this right here. I love the fact that there's this, actually, it's this gap right here. This whole gap has to fill. I love that we are below all four major moving averages, even until that level. So this whole thing, you have no resistance to go through. Guys, I'm loving it. I shouldn't say I'm loving it. I'm loving what we're seeing with this gap. So eventually, you're going to have to be patient still. Eventually, this is going to turn up and start moving towards the top. Same over here. It's going to turn up and moving towards the top. I love what I'm seeing, that we have this gap with no moving averages to deal with. I don't love it right now. It's just, I would let this thing calm down, consolidate sideways, maybe go even lower. Eventually, it'll rebound back up, even though it's a dead stock that only old fuddy-duddies like Warren Buffett buy. But I digress. Okay, let's see here. Biogen, oh boy. This is one stock that I caution buying. Hold on a second. I think I got to sneeze. Maybe I don't. Okay. Achoo! Yes, I do. Okay. Consolidating as the stock price keeps falling. It's a dog stock. Let me just move this in a little bit more. You notice that the stochastic is just so beaten down over here. Let's go over. So I wouldn't even touch it over here, guys. I wouldn't even touch it over here just because of the chaos that happens with aducanumab all the time. So why don't we just pull it up on a daily chart and go from here. So we are below all four major moving averages right now. Don't love that. It's going to be a very tough go for you if you want to. Man, guys, to be honest with you, I think I would just go find another stock, because this is going to be a very tough stock to short, because you have so much support right in here and you have so much resistance to go through on the top. I don't think it's worth fighting. Yeah, I just don't think it's worth fighting. I say just let it do something else. Do something else. There's so many stocks out there. Go pick another one. And if you can day trade it when big news comes out. Wells Fargo. So the banks are doing well. I'm rather how do I say this? I'm rather perplexed about the banks. Here's what my recommendation would be. So who asked me this question? Paul Huber's getting active. Thanks, man. Here's the deal. When it comes to the banks, I just think that if you're going to trade a bank, go ahead and trade the ETF XLF. Let's see what's happening right now. So right now, and I'm going to pull up XLF right after this. So right now, we're starting to turn into a downtrend. So if you were in this going long, it is time to exit the position, because you have had a sweet spot reversal. It has happened. So, Paul, if you're in this, get out of it. That's number one, and look to go short. Now, number two, let's see what's happening over here. If you're in this from a swing trading perspective, you're okay. You're starting to get that rollover. As soon as you get that rollover, just start to take profits on it. I'm not saying that this can't break out and go to all-time highs. I'm just saying that, well, I am saying that, I guess. Okay, here, let's pull up XLF. So this is the ETF of the banks. Guys, anytime you want to see what direction the market's going to go in, check this one out. And look, you'll see it's doing basically on a swing chart exactly what XLF is doing. So you're about to get that rollover. So if you're in XLF, take profits. But this is pretty much the direction of the banks. Let's see what's happening with, yep, same thing over here. Basically the same thing. You had a sweet spot reversal. Your trend is going to start trending down. We'll see what's going to happen. We'll see what's going to happen. All right, ALL, Allstate. That's Allstate, Stan. Are you in good hands? All right, Alejandro. Allstate. Okay, so Allstate is, here's what I don't like about Allstate. There's two things I don't like. I don't like that you're moving into this 200-day moving average rather aggressively, okay? The good thing is, though, you have a lot of volume. So the volume, if it can continue, it can push you through that level. Now, with that being said, also, look at your stochastic is kind of starting to converge over here. Let's zoom out and just make sure. Okay, let's see here. Okay, what was this date here? This was April. All right, I was just checking to see if I got 50%ers anywhere. So you are at a resist. So get ready to exit your position. I'm not saying do it right now, but get ready to exit your position for sure. You're getting to that point where it could get a little bit dicey for you. 10-cent music. Oh boy. All right, so we definitely have a 50% stock. Your high of 32, your low of, well, where you're at. So your 50% area is going to be $18 maybe, $17, somewhere in that range. So be careful when you start climbing back up there. But right now, it's a dog stock. Let's blow this up. It's been a dog stock for a very long time. Can you say blow this up on YouTube anymore? Just been beaten down. Dog stock for a long time. Looks like every other Chinese stock. As the stochastic continues to go sideways on the bottom, the stock price continues to decline. So eventually, this will start moving up into the sweet spot. But what do I tell you about every Chinese stock? Wouldn't look at it from a long-term chart. I want to see the trend. But what we want to do is come over here on a daily chart and try to swing trade this. And this is almost the same thing that I saw with Biogen. You don't have a lot of room to go on the bottom because you have a lot of support built in, and you have a lot of resistance right on top of you with the major moving averages. So in my opinion, I wouldn't do anything with it. That is me. I would move on, find another stock, and go from there. What else do we have? You probably can't say it, Mo. Probably true. SID. What the hell is SID? Campania. Okay, I don't know. All right, let me zoom it. Let me see what we got here. Okay, who recommended this one? Oh my gosh, good volume. Do we have, let's just check and make sure. What was this date back here? This was, hold on, I got something in the way. Wait a second. May of 2000. Okay, so this is looking pretty decent. Why don't we zoom in over here on a long-term chart because I really like what's happening. Guys, notice where the 200-day moving average is, $6.47. So we got a lot of room to run until that area. I don't see a lot of resistance in here. You have a couple of baby gaps to fill right here until you get to that level. This is looking really good. You've been in the sweet spot for 3 days. Here's the deal. You get an engulfing candlestick like that, buy it. This is something that I would do, and I may do. Somebody tag me on that in the bid and ask, please. Teledoc. This company is going to revolutionize medicine. Well, not according to me, according to Kath. So there's nothing like EMR. It's weird. EMR is weird. It's never been invented before, so especially in nursing homes. All right, Teledoc has just been beaten down, continues to fall. If you take out this low of whatever day that was, sometime last week, short it, and you have a very good short that you will be able to maintain. Next. Intel, I hate doing Intel. It's so boring to do from a chart. It doesn't do anything. It's just the same. It's always gap, move around, doesn't change. So it's consolidating, downtrend. The only time that you could short this thing is if you drop below that wick right there. You do have a baby gap to fill right here, so maybe you'll get a move to the top, but I'm not into it. They pay a dividend. They already paid their dividend, so you're good. Next, USAK. What is that? USAK. I'm going to do the truck one in the United States, I guess. All right. So, yes, you had a big move yesterday. Let's check the volume on this before we go any further. Volume is, okay, here's the deal. Average volume of 90,000 shares traded per day. The reason that you got that big jump is because somebody went in there and bought a bunch of shares. I would not do anything with this. I would move on. Next. Oh, Peloton. Let's see what Peloton is doing. Peloton moved up like 20-something% yesterday. It's down like 10% pre-market. Don't even look at it from a long-term perspective. If you want to do anything, come over here and try to swing trade it. But even with the swing trades, be careful. And I think that they report earnings. They reported this morning, huh? Really? All right, so they reported earnings this morning, and their earnings per share is down. Their revenue was actually not down that much, so, well, compared to analyst expectations. But, okay, sure. Spotify. Let's see what old Spotify is doing. So for the last minute of the show, should I just get on start talking about Joe Rogan, or should we not do that again? Just kidding. Anyways, gap to fill for sure here. Guys, here's my thought here. Let's see what's going to happen with this. Because it's still in the news. It's still getting banged around. Let's say Joe Rogan leaves, or I don't know, fired, I don't know, whatever. It drops way down here. Let's say something else happens. It comes way up here. I don't think that this is completely out of the news yet, so let's just be careful with this thing from a long-term perspective. Swing trade it if you want to. Please make sure you're using stops because I don't want anybody to get burned. But this thing, it certainly can make a move back to about 190. There's no doubt about that. Oil, I like oil right now. Let's pull up BP, and then I'll do one more after that, and we'll go from there. Okay, so BP is moving into not all-time highs, but very, very big highs. It continues to move. It continues to have great volume. It had good earnings. Everything is looking well, and the market is open right now. Everything's looking fine. So if you get an engulfing candlestick to break out, go ahead and add to it. Let's see. Is this getting a little flagpole-y? Let's see. Let's just check. Yeah, we're getting a little flagpole-y. Here, guys, you notice how right here you had all these nice W formations going up? This is what I want to see. I want to start seeing move up, pull back, move up, pull back, move up, pull back, and just continue higher and higher. This was a beautiful pattern that I really liked, and that shows a lot of support in there. So let's do one more stock, and I'm going to get out of here. What do we have here? Let's do. I think I saw one. Did somebody say eBay? eBay, please. Tony, you got it. eBay. All right, eBay. Wow, this has been just abused, huh? Oh, this is the one with the random PE of like 3, right? I'm very perplexed by this one. Anyways, big downtrend that it's had. It's a dog stock right now. If this takes out this low of last week, you can go ahead and short it. Now let's check, guys. What's the February 23rd is earnings? So you got some time before earnings happens. I would not even look at it over here. I would come over here and swing trade it. See if you can get a run up to 61.27. You have a nice trend going for you. All you need is some buying volume. 61.27. See if you can do that, and you'll be all right. So, all right, guys. You guys have a wonderful day. I will see you. Okay, so I won't be here tomorrow. I will not be here tomorrow. I'm going to be flying in the morning. I will be back here on Thursday, and we will go from there. So, unfortunately, you're going to have to entertain yourselves tomorrow morning. Love you guys. Thanks for the support. Peace.